2020. Just here, just wanted to just check in with you. I want to check in with my peoples. I love you, all the listeners, um, sports fans, podcast fans. Just want to give you some NBA jewels, a couple NBA jewels for the week as we head towards a weekend, head towards the NFL divisional playoff weekend that's coming up in a couple of days. A lot going on though in the NBA. As always, this podcast is coming from you live on my Twitter, not my Twitter feed, my YouTube feed. As always, it's Real Deal Podcast. Check it out. It should be available anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes after I've concluded. I won't hold you long. I will not hold you long here. Big time doubleheader tonight with OKC, Houston, Philadelphia, and Boston. Oklahoma City has been one of the best stories in the NBA this season. I mean, they really have. Chris Paul should be given a lot of credit for accepting the fact that he's with Oklahoma City. Now it took about a month. It took about a month and a half, but accepting this is where I'm going to be. Got one of the most untradeable contracts in the NBA. Let me just give off some of my wisdom and Hall of Fame experience to these younger players. And again, they play hard every night. They've had some great wins. They have been like the comeback cats. They've been down double digits numerous times over the course of the season, and they just refuse to lose. They've been great in the fourth quarter, and again, I give Chris Paul the majority of the credit. Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be a star in this league. He will be an all-star. Without question. He has that type of ability. Steve Adams, of course, always plays hard. So Donovan's done a nice job with that young talent. So should be interesting as they play the Houston Rockets. I don't know if Westbrook is going to play. He didn't play against Atlanta last night, so I don't know if Westbrook is going to play. They might be resting him, getting him ready for the playoffs. They're gonna rest him. I don't know. They're probably never gonna rest Harden because of the standpoint Harden, is gonna chase his numbers. But I hope Westbrook plays to see him match up against CP3. Also, you have Philadelphia and Boston. Of course, no Embiid with the finger injury. But to me, the big story about that game is these rumors that are going around about Ben Simmons. And I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't move Ben Simmons. There are only a handful of players in this league that I would move Ben Simmons for. I have to get back minimum an all-star. I don't think people really appreciate how good of a player Ben Simmons is. Everybody talks about his jump shot. He doesn't take enough threes. He doesn't take enough jump shots, which he doesn't. But he does everything else. He defends. He should be first team all defense this year without question. He is a exceptional playmaker, rebounder, assist man, and ball handler. He does everything else well except shoot. So and again, his defense has been all world this year. So again, if I'm trading Ben Simmons, I'm getting back a star player without question, if not a superstar player. So you had that Philadelphia and Boston. Don't look now, but the San Antonio Spurs are in the eighth spot in the Western Conference, which at the bottom half I know is weak. But again, the Spurs have had two tremendous wins in the last week, beating Milwaukee and also beating Boston in Boston. That was a great win a couple of days ago. Matter of fact, I think it might have even been. I don't think it was like 2 nights ago. All these days have been mixed up to me this week. I think it was probably Tuesday. So again, we count the Spurs every year as far as making the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs again this year. Again, they're not a contender, but they're going to make the playoffs more than likely. Blake Griffin done for the season is no surprise with him. I used to call him the Chris Webber of this generation. I gotta apologize to Chris Webber because Chris Webber is going to the Hall of Fame, or should be going to the Hall of Fame. I would not put Blake Griffin in the Hall of Fame. Too many injuries, too much inconsistency over the course of his career. He had the potential to be a superstar. He had the potential to be a guy who was going to be one of the top should have been a top 10 player for the majority and the duration of his career. Is not turned out that way. He has one of the 5 worst contracts in all of basketball without question. So it's unfortunate for the Pistons. If you're the Pistons, you might as well start off from scratch and trade Andre Drummond and basically start over. I mean, that's where I think the Pistons are at right now. Again, it's very unfortunate for that organization that was once a proud organization with the 3 championships, the back-to-back, the '04 Pistons who took out the Lakers. That franchise has not been the same basically, since Dumars was there as the president and general manager. So we'll see what they do in the future, but Blake Griffin probably is going to be done for the season. A couple other players, all-stars, well, one maybe future all-star should be coming back, and Oladipo will scheduled to be back on the 29th. If Indiana gets back Oladipo at 70 to 75% or 75 to 80%, they will be a scary out in the playoffs. Because right now, I mean, remember, Brogdon has been hurt for the last week or so. So he's missed some games. Oladipo's been out the entire season. You get those two back with Turner, with Sabonis, and some of the other pieces that they have. That team, I would not want to see that team in the playoffs. They will be absolutely scary for any team to deal with in the playoffs. Anyone. So we'll see what he looks like when he gets back. I expect to see Zion Williamson back in the next couple of weeks. I would say early February. I would say after the Super Bowl. I think Zion Williamson will be back. He's been practicing a little bit, not going too hard, but he's been practicing. They've been showing him dunking. So he's on his way back. And you know what? If he's healthy, if he's fully healthy, if he's clear to play, he should play. Like, what are you saving him for? Because the bottom line is, if he's injury prone, then he's going to get injured throughout the course of his career. Like, you're not going to protect him from being injury prone. Either he's injury prone or he's not. There's no protecting him from that. So if he's healthy enough to play, he absolutely should play. If he's healthy where he's cleared by the doctors, then he should play. And even New Orleans has been playing a little bit better of late. Ingram has had a great year. Lonzo Ball, his shot has improved a little bit, not too much, but somewhat. So we'll see what happens with that. To nobody's surprise, Anthony Davis turns down the Laker extension. We knew that was going to happen. He's going to get the full. He wants 5 years, over $200 million. That's a business decision. That's nothing personal. So I certainly don't blame him. You certainly can't blame him for that, and that's certainly not expected. The Lakers are still in the market for a playmaking guard. Like that, Kyle Kuzma, I expect him to be moved before the trade deadline. So, we'll see what happens with that. Again, the Lakers need a player, they need a player, another playmaking player. Clippers don't need anything. I don't think the Clippers need anything. Just keep Kawhi healthy. That's all the Clippers need. They don't need to get out Iguodala. They don't need to get, Darren Collison. The Lakers need to make a move in order to beat the Clippers. Great game last night with Dallas and Denver. Jokic is back. He's back in shape after, first couple months. He, looked like he was hitting that, looked like he was not so much into it, but he was just out of shape. But he's definitely back. Has had a big last couple of weeks. You saw 2 young teams who still are learning, who don't know how to win. That was like the last 2 minutes of that game. It was choppy, turnovers. It wasn't well played, but you see the talent from both teams. Again, the X factor for Denver is Michael Porter. If Michael Porter can develop and become a all-star caliber player, that will take their team to another level. Now, how fast can he get there? Who knows? But to me, he's been impressive since he's come back and since they've been featuring him more. Jokic is back. We know Doncic is what he is. And once they get on the same page with he and Porzingis, they become a scary team. Now, again, I don't think it's going to happen this year. They still got to take their lumps. They'll take their playoff lumps like everybody else. But if Porzingis returns to being Porzingis, which is a big if, then Dallas becomes an absolute beast to deal with those two. Because Doncic is going to be an MVP. There's no two ways about it. Doncic is absolutely going to be an MVP in this league one day. That's going to wrap it up for this brief edition of NBA with Ril Dil on the Ril Dil Podcast. Again, we have a lot of content coming up in the next couple of weeks. Again, divisional playoffs will be all over that this weekend with the big matchups. We'll talk about the head coaching vacancies. We'll talk about the lack of minority candidates or minority hirings, which is nothing new in the NFL. I have a lot to say about that. So I will see you soon. Have a great rest of the evening. I'm out.